No more Heaven is a Half Pipe.
Alright.
One more line of Heaven is a Half Pipe, go. Go on.
Sorry friend, you can't come in. I got a lift here that doesn't end.
There we go. David's listening to Heaven is a Half Pipe. Hi! Welcome to my Good Friday, if you're in the UK. Does Good Friday exist elsewhere? I know that it's not a bank holiday in Ireland, so I don't know if it's a bank holiday elsewhere. Bank holiday weekend in the UK at the moment. Hurrah, happy Easter. So today is Good Friday. I've got the day off of work. And also, earlier this week in the UK, we were able to start socialising outside in a group of 6. So we've been to my mum and dad's for up to 6. We've been to my mum and dad's for food in the garden and games. And yeah, it was really nice. It was really cold. It's like, it was global warming. It was 22 degrees C here in the week. And now it's like 8 degrees. So I had on long sleeve top, jumpsuit, big jumper, and a coat and a hat. So I'm only just warming up now, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about my April TBR, my unachievable and overly optimistic April TBR. Now, I don't think I've ever said this before on this channel, but every month, I think, I might read a book a day this month. And I don't think I've ever achieved it. Now, I don't know if April's going to be any different to any other month. I've got no sort of time off or extra special reading plans. Look at this little ponytail. But I have got a massive TBR this month, and it's not like books that I have to have read. It's just books that I've pulled off of my shelves, or for Women's Prize reading, or Reading Women Challenge reading, or for book clubs, or just that I want to simply read. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be exciting if I could read a book every month a book every day in April? 30 days, half September, April, so 30 days in April. Whether or not I do it, it's not like I've got to get it done. Like I haven't got a target of reading this year or anything like that. But I just thought, oh, big TBR, could I read a book a day? Already finished a book yesterday. What did I finish yesterday? Oh, How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House, and today is Friday the 2nd. So it's a massive TBR. Settle in, enjoy it. I wish I had a cup of tea. David, do you make me a cup of tea? Do you make me a cup of tea?
Yeah, of course you can.
It's gonna make me a cup of tea. Right, the first 3 books, as I said, are Women's Prize long list books. I bought these in March and haven't got around to reading them yet. The first one, on reflection of the Women's Prize, I think this is probably the one I'm most excited about now. This is Unsettled Ground by Claire Fuller. And you're following 2 adult twins, Julius and Jeannie, and they're 51 and they live with their mother still in sort of rural poverty. Their mother's called Dot, and it sounds as though they live a very sort of closed life. They make music at home, they grow things in their garden and kill things in the garden apparently. Also, according to that, I love this front cover as well. And then their mother suddenly dies and they have to have a look at sort of like what outside life is actually like. So I feel very excited about that. And then also when it arrived, it says here, the Times have quoted it saying a latter day Daphne du Maurier. So quite a lot to live up to, but let's see. Then I've also got Nothing But Blue Sky by Kathleen McMahon. This is about a chap called David who believed he had a perfect marriage with his wife Mary Rose, and then she dies suddenly. Someone dying suddenly in here, someone dying suddenly in here, and he sort of has a look back at the 20 years of marriage that they had, and if he actually really knew his wife at all, which sounds interesting as well. So yeah, got that. I bought this, but I've also got it coming on Libby on audiobook. So yeah, I might read and listen to it and see how I get on with that. And then the next one I actually own, others I'm getting through the library and gonna read on Libby and stuff, but the next one I own is Detransition Baby by Tori Peters, which I'm also looking forward to. And this is the Patreon book club read that we're going to be reading this month. And this is about Reese, who is a trans woman, has a job she doesn't hate, sort of apartment in New York, etc, etc. Then things fall apart, and then 3 years later, Reese comes back into contact with her partner, whose name is Amy and is also a trans woman. And following an attack, I think, yeah, after being attacked in the street, Amy detransitioned and became Ames. And Ames has got a sexual partner of his pregnant, even though he didn't realise he was still fertile, and is asking Reese if she would like to come in and raise this child. So it sounds super like I'm really intrigued by this. I'm really excited about this. I don't think I've ever read a book that involves detransition, so yeah, really looking forward to that very much as well. So yeah, as I said, that's for my Patreon book club for the end of April, and then one other book I wanted to mention is for my book club with my friends, and we are going to be reading Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and I thought I'd read this, but I hadn't. I'd read Little Fires Everywhere, and I knew I'd read Little Fires Everywhere, but I thought maybe I'd read this as well, but I haven't. I'm listening to it on audio at the moment. And it's about a young girl who goes missing and is later found dead, and a sort of look into the weeks preluding, well, the years and weeks and months preluding her going missing, and also an episode where her mother went missing as well. I'm listening to it at the moment. I'm finding it fine. I'm definitely not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed Little Fires Everywhere, but I'll see how it goes. I've got about 4 hours of that left. Then I've got 3 books that I'm going to be reading for the Reading Women Challenge. I'm doing the Reading Women Challenge. I'm over halfway through already, so I'm feeling really pleased with myself. I didn't read any books that qualified well, I probably did, because I read a lot of books by, I mean, I always read a lot of books by women, but like I didn't read any books that I'd specifically picked out. But I've got 3 books that I'm going to be reading in April, and the first one is Heaven My Home by Attica Locke, and this fits the prompt of a rural setting, actually, as would Unsettled Ground by Claire Fuller. But this is the second in a series, and I've been meaning to read this for a while, and this is second in a crime series which follows Texas Ranger Darren Matthews investigating crimes, and this crime is about is it about when so it's about life in the sort of post Trump being elected, but also it's about a white supremacist group, and one of the young sons from somebody who's in this white supremacist group going missing, and Darren Matthews, as I said, who is a Texas Ranger, having to look into that, and Darren himself is black. So yeah, so I'll be reading that. I read the first book in the series called Bluebird and enjoyed that, so looking forward to that. And then this is My Darling from the Lions by Rachel Long, and the prompt that this fulfills is, I think it's read a poetry collection by a black woman, which this is, poetry collection from a black woman. Yeah, so I'm actually going to go and have a bath now. As I said, I've been sat in my parents' garden all afternoon, not freezing my bum off, but being cold, so I'm a bit cold down to my bones, and I thought, wouldn't it be lovely to go and do some reading of poetry in the bath? So that is what I'm going to go and do. So whether or not I get through the whole thing in the bath, I mean, it's only 74 pages long, so I might do, but I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to sort of like, oh yeah, think about that, lovely. So that is bath plans, that's going to the side. And then the last one I've got that I'm reading for the Reading Women Challenge is Catch the Rabbit by Lana Baztazik, which isn't actually out until May 2021, and this fits the prompt of an author from Eastern European, an author from Eastern Europe, or an Eastern European author. And Lana Baztazik was Yugoslav born. And this is a story about a road trip between a woman called Sarah and her former best friend Leia, and their sort of road trip, which becomes a look upon their past. So yeah, so I'm feeling quite excited about that. Yeah, so that one too. And then these are just sort of books that I've thought I want to read them. So the next one, speaking of road trips, is Love is an Ex-Country by Ranja Jara. This came out this year in February 21, and this is a road trip across the United States of America. This is Randa's bold and frank personal story, a Palestinian daughter shamed about her weight, her background, and her decision to become a teenage mother as she rebels against her abusive family and the expectations others have of her. So another road trip book. I mean, I don't ever feel like I've ever read a road trip book ever, but reading 2 in 1 month, imagine. Then I've got this, which I've had for ages and I've been meaning to read for ages, and this is Punching the Air by Ibi Zoboi and Youssef Salem. Ibi Zoboi is an author who I've read Pride by, which is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice told in modern day New York, and sort of looking at oh my god, what do you call it when, like, This book is also similar. In fact, I'll include this book now. Gentrification, yeah. So I've read Pride, which is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but sort of with gentrification themes. And I enjoyed that, so I already know I like Ibiza Boy's writing. And it's also written by Yusef Salam, who is of the Exonerated Five, and this is a book told in verse about a young lad who is wrongfully incarcerated. So yeah, I've been meaning to read that for a long time, and then just because I've been talking about gentrification, I've had this on my TBR I think like 2 or 3 times, and I really want to read it. I don't know why it always just never makes it, but this is When No One Is Watching, a thriller by Alyssa Cole, which is about gentrification of a Brooklyn neighbourhood, and David has the audiobook of this on hold from the library. So we're going to do a sort of buddy read together, which we've never done before. He's going to listen to it and I'm going to read it. So this should get done this month, and I'm excited because I've been meaning to read this for a long time. Then I've got a book that my friend lent to me 2 months ago, and I said, oh yeah, I'll read that, and then just haven't. So I need to pick this up soon as well, and that's My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, which I've seen quite a lot of hype and reviews of. And this is about Vanessa Y, who was 15 when she had a sexual relationship with her teacher, and now that teacher has been accused of sexual assault from another pupil at the school, and people are asking Vanessa about her experiences or her relationship and the sexual assault she was suffered from that teacher, and she's very perplexed and is like, well, it wasn't sexual assault, it was love. So yeah, it's a book about that, and apparently it sounds like everybody I've said like, although it's very compelling, it's also very awkward reading. Thank you, my love. I was just telling everybody that we're going to be reading When No One Is Watching this month.
Yeah.
How long have you got left until it comes in?
It just says available soon.
Just says available
Because
soon, so this could start any time.
I did have it.
Yeah, and then you put it...
But I put it on hold.
Oh, well, actually, you've still got to finish your other Nikki French one, though, haven't you?
I've got 7-6 hours left, so hopefully I'll get that done this week.
I hope so too, because I want to start this. So yeah, that'll be getting done this month, and then yes, I can read My Dark Vanessa and return it to my friend Emma. Now the next 3 books are 3 books that I pulled off my shelf whilst I was doing my Orange Books video. So I've been working my way, doing a sort of bookshelf tour and showing you guys the books on my shelf by colour, as inspired by the wonderful Lena Norms. And recently, last week I think, maybe the week before, I did Orange Books, and while I was doing Orange Books I've picked out 3 books, 4 I think, it's one I've already started, that I really wanted to get into. So I pulled those off and I'm going to read them this month. The first one is You People by Nikita Lawani, and this is set in a pizzeria, which is set in London, and it's sort of multicultural. The chefs are Sri Lankan, half the kitchen staff are illegal immigrants, and you're following Nia, who is Welsh and is haunted by a troubled past and is running from her family. So yes, I will be reading that. And then also I've got the proof copy of Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. This came out in March this year, and I've only ever read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I think I tried reading Remains of the Day and I didn't really get that much into it. However, I'm going to definitely give Remains of the Day another go. If I even started it, I've got a feeling I bought it from a charity shop and then maybe just started it and never finished it. Anyway, I've listened to 2 podcasts in the past 2 weeks. The Adam Buxton podcast, which had Kazuo Ishiguro as a guest, and also the Elizabeth Day How to Fail podcast, who also had him as a guest. And both those podcasts, I was mesmerised by the way he talks. He's such a sort of like creative and imaginative and gentle soul, that I was like, well, I know I've got Clara and the Sun at home and I want to read that, so I'm going to start here and read this, and then I'm going to go get my hands on a copy of Remains of the Day and read that as well. But yeah, so looking forward to this as well. And this is a beautiful proof copy. It's really lovely. It's got this removable bit that I can even turn it the other way around. I've got a feeling I did this when I hauled it and it took me ages to get it back in, as is happening right now. Fixed. So that's that one. And then the other Orange book was The Dark Circle by Linda Grant. This was longlisted for the Women's Prize a few years ago, and I've had, I think I bought a second-hand copy, or maybe somebody didn't want their copy and I took it from them at a booktuber meetup. This definitely rings booktuber meetup vibes. And this is set in 1949, and it is at the beginnings of the NHS and about TB. So I feel excited about that as well, which this has also appeared on my TBR a few times and I've never read, so need to resolve that. Then I've got Hungry by Grace Dent, which I got for Christmas off of David's parents. I'm very excited about this. This is a memoir of Grace Dent. Grace Dent is a food critic in the UK. I really like her a lot. She was also a judge for the Women's Prize, like maybe one of the first years I actually got into the Women's Prize. I remember seeing her on Sunday Brunch and her talking about The Bees by Layline Paul and me being like, oh, this sounds really interesting. But yeah, big fan of Grace Dent. I've been meaning to read this as well. And also sort of like all the things I like. She grew up in Scotland. It's a food memoir. It's going to have all sorts of things in there. I'm really pumped for that. So those, oh, also, so those are books. So those are some of the books. And then I've just got 4 here that I wanted to mention. Oh no, first of all mention is that I was halfway through. I should have mentioned this when I was talking about the Women's Prize books. I was halfway through Consent by Annabelle Leon, which is also on the long list, on my Kindle, not on my Kindle, on my e-reader. I got it out from the Libby app. However, I'd had it for too long and it got sent back. So, and it was only 150 or something pages, and I was just over halfway. So I've got a hold on that, and it says it's going to be back in 7 weeks. However, that normally goes down quite quickly. I think 7 weeks. I've never really had to wait 7 weeks for a book, so there's a chance that I'll be getting that later on in the month and finishing that. And then they've got 2 books that I've already started. First of all is Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire by Klara, which I'm really enjoying. I'm about a third of the way through this. Klara, like this, I feel like this is going to be part sort of wrap up of my first third, but the first chapter of this is probably the best first chapter I've read of a non-fiction book ever. I thought it was fantastic, and I would liken it in terms of reading experience for me in the same way that I thought that Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Renee Edo Lodge, because this is all about race in relation to the UK, which I don't often read books about. So yeah, but Klara is a rapper and an activist and a journalist, so he knows words and he is so powerful and amazing with these words. And yeah, it's just got such relevant sort of case studies and really things that I remember and can recall, and yeah, it sparked a lot of conversation between David and I think it's absolutely fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. So that's that. And then another one of the orange books that I pulled off the shelf that I'd owned and knew that I needed to get to, and the fact that it was just sitting on my shelf doing nothing is unforgivable, and that's Me and White Supremacy by Layla F. Saad. And this is a 28-day sort of activity book. Activity book makes it sound sort of quite throwaway, about facing up to your own white privilege and white supremacy and white fragility, and a term that I'd never heard of before, white silence. So yeah, so I've done day 1 of this yesterday, which was quite a lot because it was the introduction and how to use it and what you'll need and things like that. And then I did the first day, which was about white privilege, and then today I'm going to do as well, which is about white fragility. So yeah, it's really sort of like digging deep stuff. You're also encouraged to sort of journal your thoughts throughout, but so valuable and so well, really real. They're like, there's no prizes for completing this book, and there's no, don't think that once you've done this book that's the end of the work. Like this is going to go on for a really long time. But yeah, so far, and I've only done day 1, I found it really valuable and sort of like digging deep of my thoughts and like experiences that I've been through has been very interesting. So there's also that's on the go. So many books. And then I've got 2 books out from the library at the moment, and these are both due back on the 9th of April, so I'd like to get these done sort of early doors, both of which I've seen appear. I've purely got out because I've seen them on YouTubers channels, booktubers channels, and the first one I saw on Jean's channel, and that's Oh My Gods by Alexandra Shepherd. And this is a YA book about a young girl who is a half-mortal teenager. She's Helen, so I think this might be a retelling of Helen of Troy. I can't be. She's just moved in with her dorky dad and self-absorbed older siblings who happen to be the ancient Greek gods living incognito in London. Between keeping her family's true identity secret, trying to impress her new friends, and meeting an actually cute boy, Helen's stress levels are higher than Mount Olympus. She needs to reign in a chaotic family before they blow their cover and her chances at a half-normal social life. So yeah, sounds really fun, doesn't it? So I will also get round to that. This pile of books is so precarious there. And then the last one I saw on Mercedes' channel, I think this was in her best books of last year, and that's The Atlas of Reds and Blues by Devi S. Lasky. Alaska. And it sounds as though it's about police brutality. It begins with a woman lying bleeding on her driveway, shot by police. The woman has moved her family to the wealthy suburbs, but once there is met with the same question, where are you from? No, where are you really from? The American-born daughter of a Bengali immigrant parents, her truthful answer here is never enough. Yeah, so yeah, it sounds pretty hard hitting, but yeah, I must read it. So those are the books. I don't even know how many. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17. That's 17 without mentioning a few that I haven't got here with me, plus my no, oh, that was troublesome. Plus my Libby app is just bulging with holds and other exciting things that I want to read. So yeah, it really is going to be a month of reading for me in April. Let me know if you're what you're planning on reading on April. Let me know if you've read any of these books here. Have you ever read a book a day in a month? Tell me. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon for another butchery video. Can I hold these up for the thumbnail? You'll just have to wait and see, or just look at the thumbnail. Did it happen? Whoa.